I have a weird theory where I believe the reason the community is falling apart is because the bartenders aren't spending enough time together.
Now, instead of supporting each other like a team where you go, okay, if you come top 10 or we come top 60, great for both. Fucking hell, everyone's winning. All of us. Not just you and me, but fucking entire city is winning.
Another episode of Bar Talks, unfiltered, unscripted. I'm here in Oslo, Norway, with Chris Grotvedt. I can't pronounce his name correctly. No one can.
Including myself.
Fantastic. You're many things, aren't you, Chris? You are the owner of this bar, Ism, but you are also one of the founders and organizers of Nordic Bar Show. You import booze. You make menus as well. You consult all over the world. Like, what is wrong with you?
Everything. I keep myself busy so I don't do stupid stuff.
Interesting little throwing that in there. I kind of start off a lot with this, like, how the fuck did you end up in this wonderful industry? What's the story there?
Well, the general truth of it was I started bartending when I was like 21, I believe. 20. So I come from a small town called Fredrikstad.
Yep.
So it's 60,000 people living there. But they care about two things, football and ice hockey.
Okay.
So when I started playing professionally, I was 16. But in a small town like that, you can't go out on the weekends, right? So
fair enough.
If you go out on the weekends, it goes like 15 minutes. Even if you're at the cinema, the GM calls you. It's like you can't be downtown. So weekends are off the table. So how the fuck do you go out and meet girls?
Oh, yeah, that was
the way into the industry. It was like, okay, so I can't go out because we can't drink because we have a hockey game. A friend of mine who run a lot of bars before, he was like, what if we work behind the bar? Then
two birds with one stone.
Yeah, so you're not drinking, you're not out, and the GM was like, okay, I'm fine with that. I was like, yes, perfect. So that's how it started, and then the competitive side of me, like I enjoyed being out, enjoyed music, enjoyed conversations, and also doing sales and stuff like this. So with having a professional athlete background, it came with like I want to do the most sales. I wanted to be the best in that as well. So
right. So that you were always kind of like the competition side of it.
Yeah.
Can you explain like how having a background in professional sports such as ice hockey has possibly helped you in the bar industry?
I would say you have much more attention to details when I'm hiring people and stuff as well. Like I would, if they have a professional background of any sports, it's a plus for me because they have the mentality of hard work and not bitching, which is unfortunately, especially here in the Nordics, became like a big trend.
Speaking to some even older bartenders,
yeah,
they're always saying that, there's that, you kids don't know how good you've got it.
Yeah.
Life was so much tougher. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, historically speaking, I can believe that.
Yeah.
But
times change as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? So yeah, of course we have all these cool products. We have all of the shit that we can get. We can get ice from fucking Greenland now.
Yeah.
Shipped over and we can make drinks with it and whatever. And for the youngers, I'm always like, hey, listen, we didn't have access to the internet the way you do. We couldn't contact a bar in Australia.
We were the last generation of people actually playing outside and not just video games, right?
So I'm always on like, okay, well, am I turning into those whiny old fucks? and I should, calm down and realize, or am I justified in my whining?
Yeah.
Because you said now everyone's complaining. Like, what the fuck are they complaining about? I don't get it. What are they bitching about in the Nordics?
Here, work hours a lot, times overtime. It's everything. So yeah, they're used to, like, here we're very privileged of having it's a good structure, but also it comes ages where, especially in the business or in the industry we're in, the margins for what we're doing are not that great, right? So for us to pay 100% overtime and all of these kind of things will actually kill a business pretty fast. So you want people that steps up and takes the extra things. doesn't put your teammates in the shit, stuff like this. But it's harder to find because they would rather go out, or they will say, oh, I punched out at 2 because that's when we're shifted. Bar's full.
Yeah. Staying a couple of extra
Yeah.
hours when it hurts.
So and I do understand it from their point of view, but like it's also it's hard when you're in this kind of industry where our margins are very, very low.
And is it even tougher, like, because Norway is obviously a heavily taxed country.
Oh.
The cost of living here is quite high. You know, I was walking in some part of yesterday, they were saying this is where, like, apartments are like 10 million plus. It was done by the water.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that everything is relative, right?
Everything's relative. Like, I'm one of those that believe, like, during the pandemic, it was a healthy change for the industry, because a lot of people left, a lot of good people left, but they also forced the industry to get better terms for their staff in terms of payments and stuff like this. So the salaries went up. At some point kind of a little unrealistically up, but as I think they should be, and not being like the US where you're forced to make money on your tips. So you can actually have a decent salary and live a good life. But
you could live a life.
Yeah, you could live a life. The problem is that when all of this increases and the rent comes, and then the rent of the building comes, or the venue increases as well, and we're not talking about the alcohol, which also is astronomical here. So if I say that to people that a bottle of rum costs 35 euros for a pouring rum, the markets with the guests and the people that we have in the country doesn't allow us to charge, let's say, more than 180 or 180 NOK, which is like 18 euros. So your margins are making actual.
So the market doesn't allow you to charge beyond a certain price, because then nobody will come.
Nobody will come.
But that isn't reflected in the cost of the bottle.
Exactly. So if you go across the border to Sweden, it's almost half the price, right? Wow. So we're in a very. I always say like this: if you can make it financially here, you can make it anywhere.
What's been the biggest change in the industry in the last 10 years?
Now you have a lot more top bars, a lot more attention around it. So we've been lucky with having a lot of imports, to put it like that. So getting Czech people, Italians, Slovakians.
Like people coming over.
Yeah, people coming over. So I think Norway at the most has been probably the most blessed with it. So you see the level of bartenders and stuff are way, way higher than it was, way higher.
And is there any negatives to all of that?
The negative part to all of it, I would probably say that people that actually come from Norway doesn't find the hospitality industry that's tempting, right? So it's less and less. Like, how many Norwegian bartenders can you name now?
One.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Are you still a bartender?
Night times. Only weekends. I would say the level of the bars has increased, and we have the people that has chosen to move to Norway to thank for that.
You've mentioned a whole bunch of bars that are, we call them like legends of industry institutions, right? The same people are winning all the awards.
Yeah.
The bars we still talk about, it's still those same people.
Yeah.
Even though apparently the level has gone so much higher and everyone's killing it and everyone's amazing. So is it too crowded, or what's going on?
I think a lot of those bars, they still do well. I think a lot of them, or a lot of other bars, they deserve much more attention than they're getting. Why is it like that? No idea.
No idea,
yeah.
But there's also, like, look at this, Bartender's Choice Awards. There's the Nordic Bar Show, which has its own awards as well. We've got 50 Best. We've now got Pinnacle Guide. We've now got Top 500 bars. I've heard a lot from a younger generation of people like, well, we don't get the attention, right? Then I will say, well, yeah, but you got to put yourself out there. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Travel. You got to do this. You got to do guest shifts. But then again, like, at the end of the day, what does it matter for the bar? As you say, we are trying to inspire a new generation of opening their own bars and doing their own businesses, which is great. I don't recommend it to anyone, but not in this industry. But when we are actually doing that, I think it should be a criteria that if you're on a list, you should actually prove that you are financially successful.
Can you, like, give me a full breakdown of all the shit that you do? Because how many businesses do you have now?
I have this bar, which is ISM. We have the Bar Show, which I started back in 2015, was the first one at the Thief. And then I have the Spirited Animals, which is a congregation of different kind of companies. So we have import company, we have a creative company, like you mentioned, we do menus, we did the menu for Koya and stuff like this. We do consultancy, we do a lot of festivals and stuff like that. So I would say like under that umbrella it's four different companies as well.
And how the fuck do you find the time?
At one point I had to grow up. That's the thing, from being this wild child to going like, okay, I need to get up in the meetings. Like it was a period of time in my life where you've done well, but you come to a point and then drinking heavily, doing this, doing that, and then you don't show up for meetings, you don't come in time, you cancel stuff. At one point, people are going to stop working with you. At one point, if you want to succeed with those kind of things, you have to just like, this is the line.
You import this. This is one of your businesses as part of Spirited Animals. What the fuck is this?
This is takamaka. I came across that when I was, during the pandemic, I was doing a project in Saudi Arabia because Norway was shut down, so I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, so it was the first time I've ever been working with non-alcoholic full menu.
Oh, wow.
Because it's not like they allow a little bit of alcohol there, it's absolutely zero tolerance.
Yeah, okay.
Then you go to back then it was, then you would go to something called the Chop Chop Square, and I had no interest in going to the Chop Chop Square in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, right, okay. I was for a moment I thought, is that like a cool place? Oh, no. It really isn't.
It's the Chop Chop Square. I went a few weeks to Dubai because Norway was still shut down, so I was like, okay, why the fuck should I go home?
Yeah.
When we came to the airport in Dubai, we had the guy I was with doing the project, Alex Santamaria. He was like, "We're doing a housewarming party in the Sheik's like top penthouse apartment."
Of course. Why wouldn't you have a housewarming party in the Sheik's?
And then it was like, "Yeah, buy some vodka, buy some rum." And I came across this at the duty free, and I was like, "Takamaka." It didn't have that balding it has now. This is much more sexy.
Yeah, okay.
But I was like, "Oh, airport rum." It's like this could be great. It could be shit. Like every airport you come to.
Maybe good, maybe shit.
And then I came to Koya with Sunny, and then I saw it in the shelves, and I was like, fuck. I saw that in the airport. What was it? Because we were trying to find rums for our portfolio. And it's like, yeah, it's seashell rum. It's absolutely great. It's our pouring rum. And I was like, tasted it. I was like, holy shit. Cole Barney, my business partner, I was like, I found the rum. I was like, this is one of the best rums I ever tried.
Son of a bitch. That's a statement. Well, you're having it with some 3 cents grapefruit soda because 3 cents, thank you so much. It's so funny how in the bar industry, sometimes we're super scared to reach out to people and message them. And don't get me wrong, I've heard a lot of stories about people not replying back.
Yeah.
But you saw a rum, you confirmed it with a buddy, you called them.
Yeah, we Instagrammed them.
You Instagrammed them, and you ended up 2 weeks in the Seychelles, and now you import the stuff into Norway.
Yeah.
It's so stupidly simple.
Yeah.
It's not overcomplicated, and yet people are scared to do anything.
Yeah, I always say like, yeah, I do a lot of stuff all the time, and my name's everywhere. But it's like the thing is, what I spend the most time on it's hard work and getting my name out there. Because if you're sitting at home, you don't think that they're just gonna call you. You need to reach out. You need to make the stuff happen. It's that
just
simple.
Fucking reach out.
It's
just I don't know how much simpler I can make it to people. Like,
it's like,
send them a fucking.
How the fuck should I know what you're doing if I don't know? I don't know. Then you need to put it in my face so I actually know.
I'll put it in your face. Going back to bitching in the industry, just quickly, do you not feel like a lot of people talk the big talk, but they don't do any work?
Everybody wants to be a superstar bartender, but they don't realize how much work is behind. You don't want to do that either because it's fucking travels all the time in flights and you just go back to work again. But
if you could unfilteredly talk to, if you could say to a young bartender who's maybe 22, 23, 24, 25, they want to be a star tender per se. Unfiltered, what would you say to them?
Travel. It's like, I'm from little Norway. It's like, What I did, I reached out to everybody on social media. That was when the social media started. Like that's also like we met during a competition, but I reached out to Alex and Simone. I traveled to London. I spent all my fucking savings on going there. If my mom would see my fucking savings account and see what I spend my money on, she will fucking take away the will. She will make
You'll
me,
be out,
yeah,
sure.
I'll be out. But for me to be where I am today, it was necessary, right? You need to build a network. You need to know people. You need to have those kind of things. You need to be at all the gatherings. Okay, yeah, I don't want to go to that event today. I'm a little bit tired. I had a long shift yesterday, but you never know who you're going to meet. So it's every day some potential new collaboration, networking, new opportunities. So attend all of these kind of things. Travel as much as you can and be out there.
What is the shit that pisses you off the most about what's happening right now with some of the youngers?
Basically, as I said, they want to jump the ropes too fast, right?
Yeah.
So everybody they see because of social media, they follow people like you, they see you traveling, they see this, but they don't understand what's behind that. How many years you've been doing this project, or how many years you've been working with this to actually be able to do what you're doing today.
I feel like no one's taking risks.
No.
Right? I feel like no one has the balls to take risks anymore. I feel like it's almost, here's the paths that you can take.
Yeah.
And people safely follow those roads.
Yeah,
no one is carving a new path anymore.
Or just walking out of that path and just like steamrolling and completely fully believes in their ideas.
Did you ever have a very like super low moments in your bartending career where you felt like I'm gonna leave the industry?
Yeah, I did. Basically, just after I opened, or like I would say like a year after I opened this bar. Came in, like run a 5-star hotel, was doing great. Came here, a lot of expectations, a lot of this like magazines writing internationally, domestically, and kind of fell for the pressure of what was expected and what we wanted to do, what happened, and how things turned out. So started drinking heavily and ended up going into a massive depression.
Was there like a certain thing that brought you over the edge, or?
Culmination of maybe like things didn't work out like I wanted to do in the start, and it was a lot of, like I said, pressure. So it kind of spiraled down to not achieving that what you want to do. And when you come from like a professional background, like that's the worst thing that can happen. That was the darkest point of my life.
Is there any advice you can give anyone who's having similar thoughts, or if you're possibly feeling so down?
It's like talk to people, like, and that's why, like, after my experience, I'm very good at seeing at people when they kind of change. Like you can see their patterns on who they are. If they're very outgoing, but like bubbly, and then you see that they're getting more and more excluded, they get more into themselves. Like it's when you see people start drinking heavily, or it's like you see changes in how they live and how they behave. It's always good to also be the one that would reach out, like, bro, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Well, what can I do?
Do you regret becoming a bar owner?
No, it's like, I think everything you do in life, it's like it's past. Like becoming a bar owner and actually going from a 5-star hotel background where I was doing 5-star hotel for 7 years to actually now you have to monitor like what the fuck does toilet paper cost? It's like you need incense on the toilet. Oh, this breaks. Should we pay it or should we do it ourselves? Like all of this cost and everything has made me what a business owner should be. So if you want to do something by yourself, that's the only path you can go, right?
Yeah.
Or else you're always going to be an employee. It's not many people that can function with me because my head's all around having 55 different thoughts and projects all the time. So I was like, it's better that I do it by myself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would say like it's not for everyone, right? It's not for everyone.
Do you think somebody can not be a bar owner and have a successful career in the bar industry?
Yeah, 100%. I believe that people find like their niches, their paths, and find their places that, you know what, this is where I shine the most. Not that everybody aspires to be the bar owner. Some do, and then they go back to hotels or whatever they was doing before and say like, oh, I just want to do this, be the shining star, be in the theater, being the guy that makes the drinks, makes people happy. And I don't want to deal with the fucking toilets overflowing with shit.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. No one bar community can be overly happy. There's always going to be rivalries and egos and dumb shit. But it felt like last time I was here, everything is turned up to 200%.
Yeah.
The amount of bitching and complaining and things being said about other venues and other operators and other bartenders, it's like the whole community changed.
Yeah.
Have you encountered that? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Is it something that you hear about?
It is. As you say, like I've seen it change for the last years. That, as you say, it's like it's gone on steroids, right? What I don't understand is why it starts happening. Because, as you say, like the reason why we are so successful up here is because of the strong community we've had or are having, but it's kind of falling a little bit apart. And we need to fix that again. If you have a problem, just fucking say it.
Yeah, fix it.
Yeah, fix it. It was like, what kind of problem do you actually have? Now, instead of supporting each other of like a team where you go, okay, let's together, if you come top 10 or we come top 60, great for both. Fucking hell,
Yeah.
we succeeded.
Where everyone's winning.
Where everyone's winning, all of us. Not just you and me, but fucking entire city is winning.
I have a weird theory where I believe the reason the community is falling apart is because the bartenders aren't spending enough time together.
Yeah.
That they're not drinking together anymore, they're not hanging out together anymore, they're not doing stuff anymore. As a result of this, they don't build relationships anymore.
No.
How are you going to go hug someone and congratulate them for getting into the top 30 if you have no relationship with them and you don't hang out?
No.
And you have no interest in hanging out?
It's like, yeah, because like you see, people are traveling more. They're hanging more with people abroad than they're in their own city.
This was Bartalks with Chris Grotvedt. We talked about everything and nothing.
As always.
We are here for Nordic Bar Show, so if you, like you heard from Chris, if you ever want to participate, if you ever want to visit, his entire point was to create this thing to attract attention to Norway, to Oslo. Their currency's fucked, man. It's much more feasible to come here.
Come now.
Come now while their country's fucked. Come on over. Anyway, Chris, thanks so much.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh.